Hello and good morning students, and welcome back to Mehta PG College online study portal. And today it is recorded as the lecture 4th recorded for BSc first year physics, paper first mechanics, although for unit first, but the chapter is second here. Within the previous lectures, saying as the lecture 3rd, lecture 2nd and the lecture 1st, we talked about something like as the relative rotational motion. Yes, I know that all of you are familiar with the rotational motion, but this is the relative rotational motion. I means to say that when one body is related to another body, let's say if the reference frame by which you are observing or in which you are being observed is possessing any kind of rotational motion, then you are relative to something, and for that observer you will become a relative rotational motion object. So within this lecture series for the chapter 2nd, we only focus on the concept of the rotational motion, the relative rotational motion. Also we talked about the concept of pseudo forces there. What are the pseudo forces? Saying the forces which are not been applied in actual sense, but they appears to be applied there. Okay, so this is it. And the most familiar and the most interesting, or you can say the most important topic, which is according to your exam point of view, is the Coriolis force. So we have discussed what is Coriolis force and we got all its mathematical calculation, and today in this video we will talk about the effect of Coriolis force on some particles which are moving horizontally on the earth and the particles which are moving vertically on the earth. Also we will talk about the particles which have been thrown vertically upward and all that things within a single video. Within the lecture 4th or maybe the lecture 5th been recorded for it, and after then we will talk about some numerical examples there. So before starting the video, I would like to request you that if you are new here and you hadn't subscribed the channel yet, then please go and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon there, so that you will never miss another update from us. You can also give a thumbs up to this video and share this video with your friends and support us, and thank you very much for all the viewers who already subscribed the channel, and thank you very much for your love and support. So let's begin the video here. Okay, so let's talk about the topic here, which saying that the effect of Coriolis force on particles moving horizontally on the earth. So we will talk about only the horizon there. Okay, so let's begin with the Coriolis force on the particles moving horizontally on the earth. So what happens when a particle is moving horizontally on the earth? So we will talk about some little mathematical calculation here, and then we will approach to all the theoretical concepts associated with it. Okay, so let's say if a particle, if any particle is in here, let's say this is a particle. Okay, this is any kind of object, saying that consider this is a point object or consider it as a particle. If this particle is moving with velocity v, also remember that even though you are moving on the earth, even though you are moving on the horizon, the earth will keeps on rotating. Let's say this is the earth here. And this particle is moving somewhere on the earth, anywhere it can be. Also remember that earth will keeps on rotating its axis of rotation. Okay, earth will keeps on rotating on its own axis, so this is the axis, and also it will keeps on displacing around the sun. Okay, so these two things are always going to happen here, and this is all what happens, and all these things like this rotation, this rotation here, this rotation will also affect on this particle here. Yes, this particle also has to feel this effect. So even though according to you, if you think that you are moving straight forward, straight, according to you, you are moving straight there. But in actual sense, in actual practice, you are not moving straight there, because the thing what will happen is a little curve will occur here. Let's say this is the curve here, and this all happens in actual practice. Okay, you are supposed to go straight, but you are not going to straight there. But this will happen in the actual practice. You will get a certain displacement towards anything like that. According to this axial representation, if you are northern hemisphere, you will feel a certain displacement towards the northern one, and if you are in southern hemisphere, you will feel a certain displacement towards the southern hemisphere. So what will happen if you will be able to go on the equator here? Let's say the equator is here. Let's say this is the equator here. Okay, so what happens at the equator? In a sense, if you are living in northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere, your body will going to crawl in the same way. You will never be able to walk on the equator line. Yes, let's say this, if this is the equator line, then according to our scientific results or our physical phenomena, you cannot walk in here on the equator here. You will not be able to walk on the equator. You cannot even walk straight there. If you are trying to walk straight, you either will fall off towards the northern side and either by the southern side. So this is all happens at the equator here. Okay, so this is the equator here. So you will feel a certain displacement towards the northern hemisphere if this particle is in here. So this is the path which we assumed here, and the dotted line gives you the path which will happen in the actual practice. Okay, so now we need the angular velocity for this particle. Okay, so what will happen? This goes a certain angular displacement. Let's say this is the angle theta here. Sorry, let's say this is the latitude, let's say this is the latitude lambda here. So what should be the angular velocity by now? So we will use the results from the Coriolis force expression, and let's say the angular velocity here. Now the angular velocity for the latitude lambda of the particle moving in the northern hemisphere. Okay, so if you remember the result saying that this is the omega, and that is equals to minus j cap omega cos of lambda plus k dash cap omega sin of lambda. Plus k dash cap omega sin of lambda. Well, this omega is here for the rotation of Earth. Okay, this is the rotation of the angular velocity for the latitude lambda of the particle with respect to Earth. Moving in the northern hemisphere. Okay, let's say this is the equation 1 here. Well, you just have to keep this result in mind, and we will use this result throughout the expression here. Okay. Also, the velocity of particle. What should be the velocity here? The particle is moving into horizon, so on horizontal axis we compare the particle velocity must be compared of two axes here. The one of which is the x-axis and the another one is the y-axis. Okay, so same the particle velocity. I think the particle, if you assume yourself as a particle, and if you are moving from one point to another point at the horizon, so two things will keeps on varying there. So the two axes, let's say the x-axis and the y-axis on the horizon only. If you are consider yourself into a planar motion, then you will go for a linear velocity there. So we do not going to talk about the angular velocity or some sort of things like that. Okay, so we will talk about a planar linear velocity. Now the velocity of the particle into horizontal plane. Okay, so what should be the velocity here? Let's say this is the v vector, and the v vector must be equals to I cap v x dash plus j cap v y dash. Let's say this is equation 2 here. Also, if you remember that v is equals to omega cross r and such kind of results like that. Okay, now we will use the concept of Coriolis force. Now the Coriolis force for the Coriolis force, we do not go through some sort of most complications there, but we just multiply the Coriolis acceleration with the mass of the particle. Okay, so this is what will happen here. Let's say the Coriolis force, which has been said as Fc here, this will again a vector quantity here, because the Coriolis force always go through a direction there, and that is equals to minus 2m omega cross v. Okay, so this is the Coriolis force. So now we just use the value of omega here and the value of v here and put it into there. Minus 2m, let's say we will going through a determinant saying that this is the I dash cap, j dash cap and k dash cap. Okay, this is the determinant here. The value of omega, for I there is no value. For j, the component associated with omega cos of lambda, and the component associated here with the k cap is omega sine of lambda. Here for the I dash cap is the Vx dash, for the j dash cap it is the Vy dash, and the remaining is 0 here. This is the Coriolis force saying which is the Fc here. Okay. So now solving for this equation, what we will have, let me clear this off because this is no longer needed here. This is only for the explanation. Okay. So the Coriolis force Fc will be equals to I dash cap 2 omega Vy dash sine of lambda minus j dash cap 2 m omega v x dash v x dash sine of lambda plus k dash cap two m omega v x dash cos of lambda. Yes, this is it. This is the cosine of lambda here. Let's say this is equation 3 here. So we got the component of Coriolis force. This is the Coriolis here, not the Coriolic. Okay, so the component of sorry. So we got the component equation of Coriolis force here. The component which is been associated with the I dash cap and in the direction which is saying the j dash cap and for the direction saying as the k dash cap. So these are the components of Coriolis force, and we got the value of Coriolis force here. If we will going through the magnitude sense, then in magnitude what we will have, we will just simply square them and add them and get them under the root, so that will be the value here. Okay, but we do not need to go through for that. So let me talk about, this is the total Coriolis force in all the direction, but we will take only the horizontal components here. Okay, the horizontal components of Coriolis force will be, let's say this is the FC here. So what should be the values of horizontal components by now? You remember that we have only talked about the x-axis and the y-axis, and the vectors associated are the I dash cap and the j dash cap. Okay, so we will take only the components which have been associated with the I dash cap and the j dash cap. We will neglect this k dash cap component because this is not into horizon. According to our calculation, our assumption actually, according to our assumption, this particular value for the component that is being associated with the k dash cap will lie vertical towards the plane. So this has not a horizontal component by now. So we need to talk about only these two here, saying that I dash cap 2 omega Vy dash sine of lambda minus j dash cap 2 m omega. The m is also to be considered here. Okay, so 2 m omega Vx dash sine of lambda here. Okay, so these things are common between these two here, so I think that we can get them out of this equation, taking common these values, saying that the 2 omega to m omega to m omega sine of lambda, which is equals to I dash cap Vy dash minus j dash cap Vx dash. Okay, so that should be the value here. This is the value for the Coriolis force, which is being associated into the horizon and has the direction which is the horizontal, or you can say it is the planar direction. Okay, so this is the component of Coriolis force for this direction. Now we will estimate this value, saying the magnitude value, and for that we need a workspace. But before going to the workspace, you can take a screenshot yourself, and then we will proceed further. Hope that you are done with the screenshot by now. This H represents the horizontal component here. Now you should take the screenshot, and let's begin with the concepts that we have got here. Okay, so this is the horizontal component of force here, saying that the FCH here, and now we will talk about the magnitude form. The magnitude of horizontal component of the magnitude of horizontal component of Coriolis force. So what should be the magnitude here? Saying this is the FCH. Okay, this is the FCH, and for the magnitude value what we will do, we will just square these quantities and add them together, and then we will have our result here. Well, you can say that 2 m omega sine of lambda is constant. If you square them and then square root them, so the quantities will be the same, there will be no change here. Only the quantities which will vary are these quantities here. So this is equals to saying that this is the Vy dash square plus the Vx dash square under the root. These quantities must be this value here. Okay, so again what this quantity is equals to, if you remember the previous equations, the equation of the velocity of the particle, for the velocity of the particle we assume these things are equal to the velocity v here, v there, and for the velocity v we got the component in the magnitude form, so this value must be equals to the velocity v, and these component form will be equals to the magnitude of the linear velocity of the particle. Okay, the linear velocity of the particle which is moving horizontally on the earth plane there. Okay, so we just simply say that this will be equals to the v dash. So the new equation becomes this is the FCH, the horizontal component of Coriolis force, 2 m omega v dash sine of lambda. Well, this will become the equation 4 here, we got the new equation, and this is the equation of Coriolis force here. So what should be the effects are in there, what kind of effects will happen here, we will talk about the effects here. Okay, so according to this equation what we can say that if you go through this equation, you will have that the horizontal component of Coriolis force acts towards right in northern hemisphere and towards left in southern hemisphere. Let's see here for this V dash. You remember the things here saying that for the I dash cap in the eastward direction this is the positive here, and for the westward direction this is the negative here. So by this equation we can say that the horizontal component of Coriolis force, if you see this equation here, Vy represents towards north to south here, and this represents the south to, sorry, the east to west there. So this is the eastward component, this is the westward component, and this is the vertical. These two are the horizontal component and this one is the vertical component. So we can say that the horizontal component of Coriolis force will act towards right in northern hemisphere and so it acts towards right in northern hemisphere and towards left in southern hemisphere. And towards left in southern hemisphere. Okay, so this is the component form of Coriolis force. Also we got one more component here, this component which is the vertical component of Coriolis force. So we will talk about this vertical component also. So let's check out that what does this vertical component means here. Okay, also the vertical component of Coriolis force. Let's say this is the FCH is the horizontal component, so we say that this is the FC only. This is the vertical component, saying the K dash cap 2m omega Vx dash cosine of lambda. Okay. This is the vertical component of Coriolis force. So what did you get from this equation? The vertical component of Coriolis force always acts upward in both hemispheres. Okay. This component, the vertical component will always acts upward in both hemispheres. Okay, so it will always act upward. So since you can go from this direction, saying that which is the K dash cap, and for the K dash cap, if you get it to yourself, you will get the things here that if anything that is been moving towards this direction, so the horizontal component will work as it has been discussed here, and the vertical component will always keep on working in the positive z direction. Let's say this is the K cap direction only, and for the southern hemisphere this is the left part because this is the minus j cap, and for the northern it will go for the positive or the right side there because this is the positive component of I dash cap. Okay, so this is the horizontal component here, and this one is the vertical component here. Okay, so we got two equations here, one of which is explaining the concept of horizontal component. Okay, so this is it, and this is the vertical component here. Okay, so this all happens. Let me be aside, you can take a screenshot for your reference, and then we will talk about some examples of these force. So I hope that you are done with the screenshot. So let me get back into here, and we need some workspace because we will going to talk about some certain examples which are based on this calculus what we have taken here. We will talk about some daily life examples because no more mathematics is there, so be happy. And all the examples are based on the horizontal motion of the particles. Okay, well, in sense of particle, you can say the particle could be saying as anything that you can define, you need to relate the things, that is called as particle. Okay, so let's find out what particle we have. The one thing it says that the erosion of river banks. If you see a natural river there, if any kind of natural river or some sort of the little rivers into your city or in your village, basically, you will get to know that for every river there, if a river is flowing towards any direction, let's say this is a river here, let us assume this is the natural river here. Which is been flowing to this direction. Okay, so what we are trying to say that if this river is flowing into the northern hemisphere or in the right or in the southern hemisphere, what will happen? For northern hemisphere, and for the southern hemisphere. So what will happen? Every time when a river is flowing, you noticed that these banks, some certain areas on these banks keeps on flowing within the river here, and there will be some erosion there, or there will be some cuts onto these banks here. Okay, there will be some cuts here, and these cuts are due to the only thing which we are talking right now is the Coriolis force. Okay, Coriolis force is the reason behind that. Due to the Coriolis force, these river banks will keeps on cutting from the edges, and this all happens here. So let's talk about that how and where and why these things will keep on erosion there, and the erosions will take place, and how these things will happen. I said that when the river is flowing into the northern hemisphere or in the southern hemisphere. So what will happen here? Okay, let us suppose if the water is flowing with a velocity saying as the Vx dash into the direction of eastward, saying that the velocity of water flowing, we will take only a component form, that is you say this is the V here, and this V must be equals to saying that the I dash cap, this is the V x dash into the direction of x there. Okay, so this is the velocity saying that okay, west to east. Okay, this is flowing into the this positive I cap means that the river is flowing towards the west, towards the east, from the west towards the east. Okay, so this is the velocity here, and also we assumed that this river is flowing into the northern hemisphere. First it has been flowing into the northern hemisphere. So when it is flowing in the northern hemisphere, so the horizontal component of Coriolis force acting on the water particles will be the FCH, the horizontal component, into the eastward direction. It will keep on going towards the right hand side, saying that the horizontal component which will act is the minus j dash cap 2m omega Vx dash minus j dash cap 2m omega Vx dash sine of lambda. This is the FCH, which is the horizontal component of force into the northern hemisphere from the direction west to the direction east there. Okay, so this is the FCH, the horizontal component of Coriolis force. Okay, from this equation the collision will take place on the right bank of the river flowing from west to east in northern hemisphere due to Coriolis force, and left bank of the river in the southern hemisphere. There will be on to the right side will go through erosion, and for this hemisphere, for the southern hemisphere, the left side will go through erosion. Okay, so that's all what happens here. Okay, so this is the component equation. You just need only this one equation here, and with this equation you can say that for the northern hemisphere this equation will give you a direction of the right side of the river bank. Let's say this is the for example this is the right side here, this is the right side. So this will keeps on erosion here, this right side will keeps on cutting, the edges will keeps on flowing within the water particles there, because in the northern hemisphere the Coriolis force will act in the right side for the water particles, and for the left side in the southern hemisphere. So for the southern hemisphere only the left side of the river banks will keeps on cutting each other, and for the northern hemisphere the right side of the banks river banks will keeps on will go through the erosion or will keeps on cutting there. Okay, so this is all what happens within this equation here. I hope that you got the concept for this particular thing here. Okay, so now we got one more example here, which is saying as the example for the cyclones. If you remember one thing, saying that the cyclone is the another one example, which is also one of most amazing examples I consider myself. Okay, if you are belong to a village or your family business is saying is agriculture, then you certainly witness the cyclones there. Okay, when you are into your fields, you will get to know that certainly what happens, the air comes very fast and some things will keeps on rotating towards it. The air will get a bundle of rotation and the rotation will exist for a certain time, and after then it will terminate there. Okay, so this is what all happens towards the cyclone. So why these cyclones are generated and in which hemisphere, in which direction the air will flow will make these cyclones, or what will happen here. Let's say the cyclones are moving, the cyclones will have a motion saying that this certainly has a rotational motion. Yes, this is the cyclone, this is the cyclone C here, which is rotating into this direction, and we go the direction saying that this is the east direction, this is the north, this is the west, and this is the south. Here we got all the directions. So what happens exactly, the air will keeps on coming from the eastward direction here. Yes, the air will keeps on coming there. Again these air will keeps on going to this direction, and from this to this direction, and from this to this direction. So the continuous flow will keeps on going, and what will happen, the cyclone will keeps on running until the air will go through the same phase. Even the phase is not changes, so the air will keeps on going into the directions here. Okay, but we will explain these cyclones on the basis of Coriolis force. Okay, and according to the Coriolis force, what happens here, let's say these are the air particles somewhere, and what happens when the air particles becomes hot. Okay, when the air becomes hot, what will happen? It will raise up from the ground, it will leave the ground and will go, keeps on going upward. Okay, the air will, when the air is hot, it will raise up from the ground. So when the air will raise up from the ground, so what will happen exactly when the rays will go up, there will be these air particles are light particles actually. So for these light particles, what will happen, this Coriolis force will act here from into the northern side, it will flow into this side, and this to this, and this to this, and just because of this flow, this turbulent flow, what will happen, the air gets a rotational motion here. Let's say this is the center, not C but the center O here. So what will happen, it will create a center which has no air inside it. Yes, the center has no air inside it, but the air is all revolving around this center. Okay, and due to this Coriolis force effect, again we got a Coriolis force effect here. And for this Coriolis effect, this is the effect of Coriolis force. So what exactly happens is, this will keeps on rotating for a minimal center, saying that this is the center O here. Okay, so what will happen is, this will keeps on rotating with this center O. This center O is inside it, and for the inside there is no air inside, but the whole air is revolving around only this particular center here. Okay, so this is the center O here, and the whole air is keeps on revolving around. And so what happens is, the cyclones are generated and go a direction saying from the positive east direction towards the west direction, and this is all through the northern hemisphere. For the northern direction here, well, this is not some sort of hemisphere concept. Here is only, this is only just because of the horizontal component of Coriolis force. Yes, we will only talk about the horizontal component. This all happens due to the horizontal component of Coriolis force. Okay, so so from these high air rushes, the air is keeps on rushing and area towards the low pressure area, and this is the Coriolis force acting here. So we will talk about the direction of rotation, then in which direction it has been rotating. So for the northern hemisphere, the air will rotate in anti-clockwise direction, and for the southern hemisphere, the air will rotate in clockwise direction. Every time when you get to know the concept of air flow, so the air will flow from high pressure area towards the low pressure area. This is simply the same thing like as the river flow here, and the rivers are flow from height to the ground there, okay, from the heights towards the ground, and this is all what happens with the air also. The air will flow from high pressure area to the lower pressure area, and this is the low pressure zones are created within the center. Okay, the center will have the low pressure zone here. This zone here, this particular zone will be the low air pressure zone. Okay, so this is the low air pressure zone here for the center O, and due to this low pressure, what happens exactly is this is the low pressure zone. So the air will try to come up towards the center. Okay, every time the air will try to come towards the center, but just because of the concept of Coriolis force, the air will keeps on rotating for these centers, because this is pretty much light. This is a low pressure zone either, but the air particles are hot there. So just because of being hot, these air particles cannot strike to the ground. So what happens is the circulation will keeps on going, and after some time, when these particles got some strength, their strength will raise to make them going towards the center. So when the inner pressure is certainly equal to the outside pressure here, this is the low air pressure zone inside the center, or the center has the low air pressure zone, but the outer surface has a pressure zone there. So what happens exactly is when the inner pressure will becomes equal to the outside pressure there. So the thing happens is this cyclone will get terminated. Okay, so this is all happens. For the cyclone termination, we need to get the pressure inside must be equals to the pressure outside. And just because the air is very much hot there, so this pressure zone to becomes equal will take some sort of time, and just because it will take some sort of time, so what happens is these pressure zones will keeps on going, the things will keeps on rotating there, and after some time they will stay at rest. Okay, so this is all happens here. I hope that you got the concept here, and this is for and this is the main thing which is to be discussed for the cyclones concept for the horizontal component of force. I hope that you got the concept for the Coriolis force effect on the particles into the northern or into the southern hemisphere for the particles which are moving horizontally on Earth. Okay, so this is all for today's lecture, and after this lecture we will talk about the effect of Coriolis force on the particles which are moving vertically on the Earth, like saying that the rocket or the aeroplane or the helicopter and some sort of things like that. We will talk about the effect of Coriolis force on those particles too. Okay, so this is all for today's videos, and if you learn something new from this video, then give it a thumbs up and also share this with your friends, and support the Mehta PG College online study portal, as this is a free study portal. You are being given the videos which are free of cost or the students. Okay, so thank you very much again for watching this video. So if you are new here, then please consider subscribing our channel and press the bell icon. And this is the Mehta PG College online study portal, signing off.